Get your films on with the Blurs.
Once an idea has taken hold of the brain, it's almost impossible to eradicate.
Unpacking movies has never been more spot on, woke, fire, and just plain lit.
They are lit all the time.
So if you're unsure whether or not to plop down some cash for a film, check out the Blurs.
When a man with a 45 meets a man with a rifle, the man with a pistol is a dead man.
Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolyte.
You really only need to hang mean bastards. But mean bastards, you need to hang.
Don't say you weren't warned.
Ridiculous.
Here's Brandon and Jeff.
Hello and welcome to another special interview episode of the Film Blurs. My name is Jeff Stewart, aka Uncle Jeffrey, and today we are going to be talking to the directors and star of Swamp Dogg Gets His Pool Painted, the new music documentary that is out in theaters now. And believe me, it is a wild ride. First up, we're joined by directors Isaac Gale and Ryan Olson. So let's get into this. Swamp Dogg wants his pool painted. Kid gets his pool painted.
He did want it, and then we made it happen in this film.
How did this happen? How did you guys settle upon him as a subject? How did you guys meet? There's a lot of questions. We got 20 minutes, so let's get into it.
We'll try to do it fast.
When the NWA movie came out, whatever year that was, Swamp has the rights, this partial right holder, shareholder, rights holder for World Class Wrecking Crew. And so he and I our labels had the same distro. And the distro folks were like, hey, you should maybe work with somebody else on this. And so he reached out to our label, Totally Gross National Product. He's like, yeah, I love it. Let's do it. And then I had phone calls with them over the course of like 3 months, putting together a package on how to re-release World Class Wrecking Crew. And Swamp's like, oh, this is great. I just need 2 Bentleys, one for me and one for Alonzo. Like, Swamp, first off, who is Alonzo? And second, if I had enough money for a Bentley, I would probably put that in a pub, marketing or something. And I don't know. It's not how it works, man. But over the course of that, I also discovered he's still making music, and he sent me an album, which ended up being Love Lost and Auto-Tune, but all the auto-tune was out of key. So I was like, let me put, I got a guy, I was working on an album with Justin Vernon when he was doing 22 a million. It's like a heavy auto-tuned album. I was like, I got a guy for this. Let me run it by Justin and get it keyed for you. And then that's how it started. And then I just mangled his album, and then we became buddies after that. And then came up to shoot a music video for that album. And Isaac and I went out there, and then Isaac saw this place. He goes, we got to film these guys. He got introduced to the house. And, I'd met Boog and Shorty and stuff before, but I had never seen, I had been in the house, which is like really, where it's this, the deal is sealed. Like, this place is magical. The way these guys roll is incredible. So, and then that's all I knew about him. And then we just kind of discovered everything we knew about him throughout the course of hanging out.
Yeah. That's awesome. I had never heard of Swamp Dogg before. Now he's one of my favorite musicians. I think
awesome.
just his personality, like the way he comes across, and this collective of artists and musicians that just kind of squatting at his house, just living with him. I want to be him when I grow up.
Yeah.
So how long did you shoot for? Right. And what was the vibe during the shoot? What were some of the challenges or things like that involved in putting this together?
Sure. We went out there in 2017. We started with this music video, and some of that material is in the movie. And then, leaving that music video shoot, we knew we wanted to come back and do a short doc about him and getting his pool painted and just his buddies from the house hanging out. So we sort of set that up, and then asked him to invite some people to come through. So that was Johnny Knoxville and Tom Kenny and Alonzo and people that are kind of in his Rolodex. And we didn't know anything about Swamp, really. Every time he told us a story, we were just amazed. So we knew we had like amazing characters. They're totally open. You can't find people like this anymore that don't care about the camera, kind of, which is incredible. So we would just throw them out there at the table and just see what happened. Hopefully we'd get an hour out of somebody, and just see what kind of funny stories they can mine out of swamp. So yeah, the challenges were painting the pool sucks. It's really hot down there. We painted the pool black, so it's like extra hot. Luckily, we didn't have to paint the pool. We just kind of helped a little. And then it got ruined after our first shoot. Someone like sealed the pool with sealer, and it just turned white and disappeared. So it took us years to do it again.
Okay.
Over the course of those years, we would just keep shooting. Every time there was a reason to make music with them for Ryan or whatever, maybe I'd come out there, we'd find someone with a camera to just hang out and see what the updates are around the house. And through that, luckily we're just friends with them. They're just so cool and nice. And they wanted to hang around with us. And yeah, you just keep learning more and more who these guys are and letting them, tell their own story in their own words every time you're out there.
So let's talk about getting the pool painted. Was that the original framing device? Because I've never seen a documentary like this where it's sort of this one central, I guess, incident or action is sort of the impetus for the documentary.
Well, we had met him in 2015 or 16 at a fest. Our friend Justin Vernon puts on a fest in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, that he brought Swamp Dogg out because there was a John Prine tribute. And in that period of time, he met our friend Jesse, who's a fine art painter, like a gallery painter, and asked him if he knew anyone who painted pools. And then when we were out there shooting the music video, we're seeing his pools just like devastating, cracked, dry pool with leaves at the bottom. And he asked us, like, know anyone who paints pools? And that just clicked on our way to the airport. We were like, let's just make something called Swamp Dogg Gets His Pool Painted. So we thought the title before anything else, because that's just a good title. And then, we knew, seeing the house, and meeting the housemates, we knew the house was kind of going to be our anchor point. So we could always come back to the house present day and see the pool being painted, or, that's just a nice device for us to be able to go anywhere in time and with the story. So yeah, we thought of that first.
Like we've said, it's such a fascinating life. What are some stories that you can talk about that weren't in the documentary that
we had a whole sequence of, when we got there, Guitar Shorty had gotten his band stolen, and they stole it. Shorty, like, his whole like trailer and all the things in it, and it was like this major drama of the household. Like that was like kind of a huge part of it, and we had this big aspirations of recreating it in like a forensic file style, just shooting and filming all of that, and just doing reenactments of the van getting stolen. There's like tons of scenarios there on the job, on the cutting room floor. But yeah, that one is one because we were going up into the edit. We were like, yeah, we're going to do that. Once we laid out it on paper, how we were trying to, like, all the scenes we're trying to do, it didn't really, it was hard to fit that into the story because there's so much other stuff going on. But there's a pretty incredible miniseries about Guitar Shorty getting his band stolen, not once but twice.
Yeah, it kept happening to it. Of course, out in front of the house too, which makes no sense because it's a dead end and it's just like so suburban and quiet.
And they all would tell like the story of what happened, especially different their own like ways, their own like perspective.
Yeah, that was cool. There's a million stories from Swamp that we couldn't fit in. You could make many more movies about Swamp. He almost went on tour with Otis Redding, but got arrested for skipping out on a hotel bill. That was kind of an interesting one. Just about to start it or something. That story, again, like some of these stories, it was hard. You'd get it from him once, and then if you try to revisit, you try to get the story over time as you understand it, but like we couldn't quite get the narrative down right for some of those.
And the Apollo thing too, because he played the Apollo, and like last time he played the Apollo was 1965, and he got paid $300 for 10 days of shows with like 2 or 3 shows a day, and the only reason I was able to like make any money out of that is because he skipped out on his hotel bill. He like left it. That was like one of his moves, was to like not skip on hotel bills. But he was about to go play the Apollo again for the second time in 2019 with John Prine. He was booked and everything, and then Prine died. So it was like,
We had thought that was going to be the ending of the movie at one point.
Yeah.
It was him and John Prine at the Apollo.
Yeah, exactly.
And it didn't happen.
Oh, wow. Like I said, like you said, there's so many stories. It's the way that this story is told, the way that the documentary is presented, that is as interesting as Swamp's life or career or whatever like that. When I was watching it, it felt to me like I was watching the first Adult Swim documentary, right?
Sure. I mean, we should have a cartoon on Adult Swim. If we can make that happen. From this interview, if you know anyone there, we got an idea for a Muppet Babies version of the house.
Sold. I mean, can we do a Kickstarter for this? Let's make that happen.
Yeah.
So it's just the way it's cut, the way you present it. It's very fun. It's very, like I said, Adult Swim, very, Too Many Cooks. Have you ever seen that? It felt like that. Was that a choice from the beginning, or was it like as you're cutting this together, it's like, you know what, let's go left instead of right?
I mean, we started this knowing that we didn't want to do any kind of like music doc tropes where you got talking heads that are just by themselves telling you why someone's so great. But we wanted to make it like immersive Swamp Dogg and crew. Like you're just hanging out with these guys. And a lot of that is listening to like hilarious jokes being set up way down the line. So we wanted to weave that into our edit. Like there's punchlines that are started in like the first scene, the Mark Twain thing, that come way down later at the end. That's how Swamp does it. So we're just trying to like reflect what it feels like to be around them to us, and then to let them, speak in their own words and music and whatever we can do to augment that through sound design. And yeah, I don't know, they're trippy guys, and we're trippy guys, and we're musicians. So I think we hear a certain cadence and how it should go. But yeah, it was, we needed to keep the pace up because you've got a lot of guys sitting in one place. So how do you keep that feeling energetic? And, how do you keep the flow of the whole thing constantly moving forward, backward in time, wherever. Yeah. So we want to, the beginning of the movie, we wanted to feel like you've entered a wormhole and landed at the most important guy in the world's house. And that's Swamp Dogg.
Fair enough. And let's talk about the beginning. The very trippy intro where we, like you said, travel through time and space. How was that achieved?
We built a PC computer that's right down here to my left. And we used what was it called? Visions of Chaos is sort of like a portal to different AI image generators and stuff.
Okay.
Using kind of an old version of Stable Diffusion. This is for the boring AI tech heads, but a lot of coding and just re-entering numbers over and over for about a year and a half until we sort of had some flows that looked really cool. They're built on models of Swamp's own images. It's about as ethically sourced AI as you can do, I think. But yeah, we love the idea that Swamp Dogg did a whole album about autotune when he didn't really know even how to use autotune. AI is kind of like in its infancy. So we're like, it's pretty cool that this 82-year-old guy is like an AI model now that like we could sort of spit out all these iterations of him. Where he's a chef, he's in a car. It's like looking at alternate realities of where he could have gone in his life all in one flow. But yeah, it was a lot of coding, a lot of boring. You wait overnight while this thing generates, and then you're like, "Oh, that sucks." Yeah,
yeah. But where did the idea to use AI to create this come from?
Well, we just knew we wanted to start this thing really epic with sort of like a mission statement about, in the voiceover, sort of like a weird voice of God talking while we come down from space. So, however we could achieve that, this was a way to do a really trippy effect that we tried a bunch of different ways, and this just felt right. Yeah. It could have been a different kind of, it could have been some other kind of video effect, but I feel like we would have seen that already in other things. And this just felt fresh at the time. And again, we love the idea that this 82-year-old guy is like dabbling in this futuristic technology.
But it's also like, it's not where, AI is going, where it's not smooth. It's like still kind of, it's like,
it's an early version of it.
Yeah. It's already super dated AI stuff. And I think that's a nice, it's like, timestamp that way.
Totally
nice. Like if it was like super flashy and smooth like AI, it would not be the same kind of vibe. I like that it's just kind of janky AI.
Totally.
In a certain way.
Totally. A lot of people have knee-jerk reactions against AI because they hate the way it looks visually or whatever. But
because they don't understand the actual problem is not AI, it's capitalism.
Yeah. That's our next project.
It's fucking, created scarcity or something.
Yeah, as visual artists, it's really fun to use that stuff.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I was just wondering because when I was watching, it's like, is this AI or is it hand drawn?
Yeah, we're trying to like blend those things. It's made out of his real pictures, so it is. It's got the texture of his actual material, which I think is really helpful. It doesn't look as computer generated as it could.
And it's like also, your documentary is only what we have like access to it. So everything's kind of a manipulation of like truth or whatever.
Yeah,
it's all going to be interpretation of whatever. So yeah, it's pretty good.
And we used it through the movie. It's not just in that. The intro is the biggest example, but throughout the movie, the archival we used it to just sort of if an old picture of swamp is a square, we used it to extend the edges so that everything is full screen. So it's kind of like this cool thing where you're looking at the real picture in the middle, and then there's this strange texture frame around it.
Yeah, I noticed like in the beginning where like you have a photo of Swamp in his youth and it winks at you. And I was like, this is cool. I've never seen this before. These guys are having fun with it.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
If you look at Moogstar's stuff, he's doing wild stuff. He's putting the emoji heads on everybody in the house and making these insane, cool music videos. So it just felt like it's the right thing for us to do.
So let's talk about Moogstar for a minute. Tell me everything about him. He's a wild, creative cat, and the thing I got from watching the whole entire movie, it felt like I was hanging out with my uncles, right?
Uncles, yeah.
Right. I mean, it just felt like I'm hanging around with like some really talented, unique Black folk, which honestly we don't see them presented. We don't see us presented like that on this larger scale and like these unique individuals, right? So, but Moogstar really kind of struck a chord with me. How was it working with him?
He's the best. He's such a sweetheart. He's their studio manager / caretaker at the house.
When Moog came up, he was like, we touch on it a bit in the movie. It was like under the thumb of like a Christian household. But his older brother, who he kind of shared a studio with, like played with Prince, and he is around crazy music, and like their studio, Moogie Bear Studios, whatever. Like when Hammer got huge or something, they got all these other acts like
Tupac came through,
all sorts of stuff. But then Moog, once he got out from under his church a little bit, he went out and started he was in Cameo for a while, and then he was like Roger Troutman's tech and shit. It was like before like Roger died, I believe, something like that. Like he's like part of some crushing groups and stuff. Like he's been around and a contributor to some amazing shit. But he's absolutely like phenomenal in so many wild ways, like going in crazy directions. I love recording with him, making shit with him. He's just so fun. And he's just, this arguably the smartest human beings on Earth. And definitely from outer space.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's been the reception to the documentary? How have people been gravitating towards it?
It's been great. We've been on about a year long. We premiered at South by Southwest last March. So now we're about over a year being at festivals every few weeks. Crowds seem to love it when we can get them in the seats. It's kind of hard to market this movie because it's got a funny title. And I think people try to push it towards it's a music doc, but really it's a comedy and just a doc about prolific artists in general. It's got tons of music and they're amazing musicians, but it doesn't feel like a music doc. But it's hard to get people that don't know who he is to understand that. And I think, the trailer that Magnolia cut for us kind of does a really good job of showing that. But the reception's great. Swamp and Moog love it. They'll watch it every time. They'll laugh at their own jokes over and over. And every time they're like, you guys re-edited this thing. And we're like, it's the exact same movie you just saw weeks ago. But yeah, just a real pleasure to have them be able to watch it.
Yeah, it's nice documentary and stuff. Getting their initial, how much it meant to them. It's real sweet.
Yeah.
That's kind of the main reaction.
Moog's whole family has seen it at this point. When we showed it in Texas, a lot of them live in Dallas. That has just been amazing. For the longest time, we didn't know even how old. We still don't know how old Moog is. Yeah, don't say it. But he has kids in Texas that are adults, and meeting them was amazing. Like, it was just the best.
Yeah, it's been very heartwarming.
Yeah, heartwarming. It's a feel good movie of the year.
So what's next week for you guys? Like we're wrapping up. Is there anything I missed, or is there anything you want to try to plug besides the movie? Or what's on the horizon?
Well, we have some ideas for some projects, but they're not. They're in their beginning stages. We would do a lot of music together. So we have a project called Marijuana Death Squads. We're working on new music for that. We did. Yeah. It's like a noise electronics band. Yeah.
I listen to music based on titles alone, like band names, and that's fucking fantastic, right?
Yeah. So yeah, we're in Minneapolis. Someday hopefully we'll get to leave town again and do some touring or whatever. But yeah, we're kind of focused on that and just focused really hard on the launch of this film, because we've been working on it, for so long. It's hard to like really think about anything else. But yeah, well, we need money, so we got to get back to work. we're desperately broke.
Well, we're gonna do what we can to spread the gospel of Swamp Dogg. Like I said, this is a fascinating, fantastic documentary, I guess, comedy.
As Swamp put it, it's the documentary that's more like a movie.
It's the documentary that's more like a movie. But yeah, no, you did a great job, and you have made at least one more fan of Swamp Dogg, so I appreciate it.
Awesome.
All right. All right. Good luck with everything. You enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully we'll be talking soon.
Yeah, amazing. Great to talk to you. Thank you.
All right. Take it easy, guys. And now, without further ado, the man, the myth, the legend, Swamp Dogg. Swamp Dogg, how you doing today?
Doing pretty good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. Sir, it is an honor and a privilege to be able to talk to you today.
Well, it's an honor and a privilege for me to be able to talk today. Almost 83.
So when I first came into the documentary, I knew very little about you, and after that, I have actually become obsessed. Right. So now I'm like, where are you from? You don't know Swamp Dogg, right? I've been telling all my friends about this. So how did this all start? How did this documentary come to life? I mean, I talked to Isaac and Ryan yesterday, and I got their side of it. But from your point of view, where did this all come from?
Well, they were out here shooting a video for the company that I was with at that time, and we did it here at the house. And they Ryan's real nosy anyway. So he's looking at pictures and opening books and all kind of crap. And they started liking what they saw. And they decided then, can we do some shots on you? And they started doing a few little things. And after a while, they got really enthralled and wanted to do. They said, we could make a good video. I couldn't imagine at the time what they were wanting to do. I don't think they really knew, but I guess they figured once they got started, it would kind of work its way out. And it did. It took 8 years, but that's longer than that movie, The Bible. It's just 90 minutes. Yeah.
So it took 8 years. How often would they show up?
That's where a lot of the time went. The 8 years sounds like, wow, they must have been learning how to do this. Jeff, give me that question again.
No problem. Like, when they would show up over these 8 years, would it be for like 2 weeks at a time, or like we have 30 minutes on a Friday, we're going to come by and shoot some stuff? How intense was it?
No, they would come in, and when they came in, they'd need all my time because I'm in LA and they're coming from,
I think, Minnesota or something.
Yeah, and somewhere. My man Mook's out here trying to tell me, but he won't. He keeps mumbling. Where, man? Oh, yeah.
Wait, is that Moogstar?
Yeah.
Yo, how you doing, sir?
How you doing?
Thank you. It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for doing this for us.
Where
No,
you
not a
look?
problem. Was
Where
that?
you look?
I'm in Jersey.
Damn, everybody's from Jersey today.
Wait. Today's Jersey Day?
Yeah, we just had an interview with somebody from Jersey. Jersey City?
Yeah.
They're not as cool as me, so it's all right. So the thing I really got from the documentary is when you were sitting by the pool and you were having people come by, I felt a connection because it felt like family, right?
Right.
It felt like not only I knew everybody who was sitting down with you talking, but it felt like parts of my life when I would go and see my family and hang out. It felt real close knit. And I think that was what really drew me into it. Tell me about some of the people that are in your orbit who were in the documentary. I mean, of course, we know Moog Star, we know Guitar Shorty, but some of the other gentlemen who sat down with you and talked. How did you have to convince them to come and be a part of the documentary, or they were just like, yeah, we want to share in this?
They wanted to share in it, and they were like, okay, Lonzo Williams, he had the world class wrecking crew, which had Dr. Dre in it. So actually, I was managing them. I managed Dre and several other hip hop artists. MC Breed, Ain't No Future in Your Frontin'. This had a lot of artists, hip hop artists.
Yeah. And your life seems so unique and filled. Like watching the documentary, all of a sudden, Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob SquarePants, just shows up at your house. How does that happen? Like, how do you?
He's been to my daughter. She gives a New Year's Eve party at the Roxy every year, and Tom comes to it every year, and we've just become real damn good friends. Yeah, we all love Tom.
Yeah, I mean, you have Tom Kenny, Mike Judge, like the creator of King of the Hill. Like, you have people you would not think that would be in your orbit are just coming by your house and chilling out, sitting by your pool. That's the great thing about this documentary. I feel like I should thank you for your involvement in all of these things that I had no idea you were involved in, right? Like musically.
Yeah.
Just songs you've been a part of, people you've managed, right? Like people know you. And I feel like I should be thanking you because of like the careers that you've built, and the influence you've had. So moving on from that, this documentary, and I don't want to call it a documentary because it feels more like a movie.
Yeah.
Right. It is real. This is not an insult. It's real weird.
Yeah.
And I love that. How do you feel about the finished product?
I was surprised, and I just thought it was going to be another run-of-the-mill documentary with a back voice telling me what I'm going to see, what I'm seeing, and all that. Where like we had our own dialogue, unwritten. Everything came right off of whatever ideas come from, wherever. But it's not scripted. It's not scripted. We just said the things that we believe and know about. It was, it was a good, getting all these people together was not a problem. Johnny Knoxville, and he's going to put me in one of those jackass movies as soon as he comes up with something that's not going to kill me, because I don't want to be in no canon or no shit like that.
That's fair.
The only way I do that, it's got to be somebody from Cape Canaveral. I'm not getting in no canon.
So how much input did you have into the actual cut of the documentary? Did they show it to you when it was rough and you said, like, I don't like that, or change this? Or did you just let them do whatever they needed to do?
They showed it to me out of courtesy But basically, they had their mind made up, like when they come to you and say, hey, man, here's something that we like. We really like this. Give us your opinion. Say, hey, you like it. You want to go with it. It's inspirational for you. Go with it. You're movie makers. And so just do what you feel. Don't worry about me, And that's the way that went. I didn't really have a lot of input.
When I was talking to Isaac and Ryan yesterday, they said there were so many stories that they had to cut out, leave on the table, just because they only had an hour and a half, right? Or 2 hours or whatever like that to make a movie. And are there any particular stories or anything that happened that you wish would have been placed in the movie?
A lot of stuff in that movie.
Something that comes up just up off the top of your head.
I guess I would like to have seen more about my songwriting and the people that I recorded, I produced. Yeah, that would be in there because I produced Patti LaBelle, Lionel Richie. When I cut Lionel was playing saxophone for the Commodores. And yeah, he's hell of a sax player.
Huh.
Yeah. Okay. And I convinced him that the whole album is instrumental damn near, except I got him to sing on one song or two songs. I know he did that. I know you're gonna leave me, baby. But let me see. Yeah. He only sang half of the songs. What I mean, half of the song, and then he played sax after that. Sax was his main instrument.
See, this is why this documentary is so awesome, because this is a story that was left out, right? Uh-huh. You've got this whole entire history. That's amazing. So I got to ask you this, the cooking section of the movie, the cooking show, what was that all about? Where did that come from?
Well, that's my hobby. Cooking. And I was raised up by a house full of strong, strong women. And so there was very little influence as far as baseball and football. Although I did play, I was at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to being good. I wasn't put it all at it. But I learned to cook my ass off. And do anything else, basically a woman did in the house. So my recipes, some of them are new recipes that I came up with, but most of them are from my childhood up. I just actually brought the recipes from my family, who was in Portsmouth, Virginia. And that's what's appearing in the cookbook. I think the cookbook is going to ship the same day as the movie premiere. Yeah.
Oh,
pre-orders. And looks like it's going to be something. People are buying it and it's $45. I thought nobody going to buy it but me, and I was going to buy one.
Look, I'm going to buy one. Are they signed? Can I get one signed?
Of course.
All right. So what's next for you? How do you fill your days? What are you doing?
What are we doing? Must not be nothing, huh? Anyway, yeah, I'm booked up until next March.
Oh.
And there we're gonna play. I never did a long tour. As Little Jerry, and although I wanted to, but now I'm gonna be traveling a hell of a lot and doing these shows, and I'm surprising myself at my agility. I think that's it, and I can hang, which is cool. But now, in past years, I have taken care of myself. I mean, I also been wild on a mother, but But that you got to know when to stop that. Also, say, hey, I'm 80 years old now. It's time for me to stop messing with LSD. Now that's not what I did though.
So, I know I'm supposed to be talking about the movie, but you're just such a fascinating individual. So I'm just got to take this time just to throw some questions at you. So, of the music that's happening now, that's being created, yeah, who do you like?
Who do I like?
And if Moog wants to jump in, he's more than welcome.
And I don't know why he's.
According to that documentary, you're not very shy.
No, he's not. And now all of a sudden he's shying away. I said, okay, I'll take all the glory.
I just got your back.
But like, like The Weeknd, Kendrick Lamar. Do you like the music that's being produced now?
I like that because Drake has sampled me. What's his name out of New Orleans with all the tattoos on his face?
Lil Wayne?
Lil Wayne, he sampled me. I've been sampled in my songs in motion pictures like Priscilla. There's one in there, a song that I was singing that I had a hit on 1965 as Lil Jerry Williams. It's just, I'm very pleased with the music that's happening today. And I'm glad to have a catalog as vast as I do that they can pick from. So I'm pushing the catalog.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm living off the catalog, really. And I got titles for new songs that I want to write, and for my next album, I want to leave a legacy of albums of music because I do want to be remembered.
I mean, look, I'll never forget you, and I'll make sure everybody in my orbit knows you and never forget you. So let's talk about. Can we expect a new album soon? Well,
the album that we're pushing right now came out last March, but now with the movie, it should at least get it. Well, it's a country album.
Okay.
And it was not voted. They declared that it was the best country album of the year. And that was a public radio station. What's the name of the public radio station?
PBS.
Not PBS. The other
NPR?
One. Yeah. They're the ones who declared it the best album of the year. So right. It's damn good. It's different. I got banjos, and I like working with different things. I experiment. That's why you'd never heard of me.
Because you're all over the place.
Yeah, but I want to hit it. I want to hit it. And instead of bluegrass, my album is called Blackgrass. And I'm always pushing the blackness. And hey, man,
I'm gonna listen. As soon as I get off here, I'm going to listen to your Blackgrass album. They're telling me I gotta wrap up. Swamp Dogg, I can literally talk to you for hours. I appreciate the documentary. I appreciate what you've done for Black people and like making it okay and cool for us to be weird.
Yeah.
Right. Like I said, this documentary is great. I can't wait to get it out there, tell people about it, and I can't wait to see what the next evolution of Swamp Dogg is. Yeah. So
yeah, when you listen to this album, you can see where I'm going. But then again, I may go another place because I've been asked to do a New Orleans kind of funk album, kind of like Professor Longhair and Alan Toussaint.
Okay. Yeah.
A New Orleans album. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. Swamp Dogg, thank you for your time. Moog Star, thank you for your time.
Thank you too, my friend.
All right.
Yeah.
I hope to talk to you guys soon. Good luck with everything, and I appreciate your time.
Hey, man, thank you. I really appreciate what you're doing.
I'm trying.
We're the Film Blurs. I'm Brandon Norwood, and I'm the motherfucking protagonist.
I'm the protagonist.
I'm Jeff Stewart, a.k.a. He Who Remains.
Don't come at us. It's just fucking movies.
You've been listening to the Film Blurs podcast.
Man, I just love what you guys do, man.
I never miss an episode. It's the best. It's my favorite podcast.
Follow Jeff on IG on MindFireXL and Brandon on Twitter at BJN Tweets.